for being with us, because my hope is that these conversations will help not just you, but they expand the perspectives and help us see and notice other people struggling in our life and help them to find better way to go through their challenges and have better life for everyone. This is the collective creation of the beautiful life. I know that we have beautiful people from all over the world. Last webinar, we had 24 countries that came and joined us in this conversation. We all know how to live a beautiful life. We can teach and write books, but we don't do this because it's not what you know, it's what you do. So let's open up our chat, warm up our fingers, get our smiles together, get ourselves a little bit into action and start working on transforming your life. Celebrate life, because this is all about being energetic and staying in the power of the leadership that we are. We make decisions that change the world, and those decisions better be powerful, because we also make decisions that bring suffering and problems that we will be solving 10 years from now. So let's step into our own power and celebrate and bring joy to this moment before we go into the heavy-duty conversation about burnout. So I welcome you today to a conversation that is pretty serious. And yet my intent for you is to not get scared or spooked, but to expand your perspectives, to start seeing what it is to be a human being in the modern world, and what are the strategies and opportunities to expand not just the help and resources for yourself, but also for people we live and we love. We will be talking about what burnout is and what it is not. We will look into some myths and some secrets of burnout, which you will be surprised what it is. And then we'll be talking about how to choose your battles and how to help yourself, and most importantly, people who are dependent on your energy, on your smiles, on your joy, on your own power as the leader. I would like to start with a story. Why this is such a passionate moment for me. It is a personal story, and I share this a lot. And if you heard this, listen to this again, because the message is strong. My personal burnout story is very, very personal. It started, unfortunately, on a very beautiful October Saturday morning of 2012. And it ended with me meeting my beautiful fifth child, my son, Alex, who was not supposed to be born that day, but he was, because I was burning out and I had no idea. So that mistake was not the first one, and this mistake was also extremely expensive. Just that 2 weeks of hell that we stayed in the hospital cost our family $216,000 in bills. He spent 15 days in the intensive care unit. I spent 4 days in coma and had 3 surgeries, 6 blood transfusions, 7 days in the hospital away from my 4 young children. I had to become the expert in physical therapy, occupational therapy for the next 2 years, child development expert, woman resilience expert. Seeing the mothers in those NICU places is not a happy place. Relationship recovery guru, because we cracked our marriage and we cracked relationship with our kids who were just coming up into young teens, the oldest one. And countless tears and countless fears of never having hope again. So the cost of success through burnout is huge to you, to your family, to people you love. This is Alex today, and he is the person who inspired me to go into these conversations with you, to start reaching out to people, to touch you. Do not hit the wall. Use my wall, use my pain, use my lessons, and help people around you before they get into that situation. So burnout is real. It's not just hurting families, but it really changes our community. Burnout is growing exponentially, and we will talk into the reasons why and how you can help yourself and people you love and lead to take care of this, or at least be aware of this. But notice the numbers. I'm not going to go through all of them. I just let you look at them and appreciate what's happening in the world. Wake up and see it with the open eyes. The cost of burnouts are huge to the health system, the society. There's 120,000 deaths in the US alone that are associated with overworking, and it's even higher in some other areas of the world. The employees report extended burnout at work. And if you are leading people, we will be talking about the signs of burnout, so you can notice and you can reach out and you can offer help and support to those people and recognize those signs in yourself. 28% of workers feeling burned out often or always. That's 1/3 of working people. That means that we have close to 10,000 people in the organization alone, the 30,000 organization that we're in, that is experiencing burnout potentially. And half of us are feeling burnout sometimes or often enough. We have tremendous numbers that show the impact not just on people that we work in, but most importantly on the young people who are learning from us what life looks like, what success looks like, what relationships look like. And numbers that we see is 84% of young people, of millennials, are talking about experiencing burnout at work. And I don't even include numbers that talk about their anxiety levels and their suicide levels. So what we do every day, decisions we make for ourselves, for our self-care, or not take care of yourselves, sets the example, sets the rules of the games, and they will play this game and they will lose just like we are losing this game as well. I want you to put in the chat, what are you feeling right now when you hear the statistics, when you hear the true story of what burnout is? Don't be shy, connect to your feelings and feel what's coming up to you when we talk about the expenses of burnout. We're not surprised. We see it everywhere. Yeah, we feel sadness. Let's feel, let's allow. It's shock, it's sadness, it's terrifying, it's shocking. And yet we're living in this every single day. So today we're going to be expanding our horizon. We're going to get a little bit more knowledge. We're going to have a little bit connection with the body and some strategies of how to help yourself and others. And then 5 strategies that will hopefully help you tremendously. You will learn about them. We won't be able to implement, of course, in 60 minutes we have, but I will share some resources where you can take it deeper, because when you introduce this into your life and act, only then you will feel the change. Change does not happen in your head. It happens in your actions, in your words, in your kindness. So what is burnout is a mismatch between the human capacities and resources and the demands of work. Let's just make a very simple discussion about that. And so to start the discussion, let's get into our body. Let's take a minute and connect to yourself so we actually feel who you are. We arrive as the whole human to this conversation. It's also one of the main strategies of dealing with the burnout, is building up the many layers of stress, relax, work, rest, work, rest, work, rest. So I'd like you all to get up on your feet. You'll go into your body a little bit, and we will take one tiny pause in this conversation to just be with yourself, to feel yourself, to touch yourself. And we're going to do this through breath. Breath is important because when you open up your diaphragm, there is a vagus nerve that goes all the way through your body, from your head through your heart and diaphragm area into your intestines and into every organ in your body. And so when we expand the breath, we contract the nerve and it activates the parasympathetic relaxation response in our body. So this is the quickest way to bring a little bit of kind hug to your body and compress and massage your nerve through breath. That's why breath is so important. So what we're going to be doing, I will ask you to spend 40 seconds, just very quick breath. Put your one hand on your belly button, put another one on your chest. We're going to close the eyes and we're going to go into quiet breathing. So how are we going to do this? We're going to take a breath, pause, and then take a little quick in again, pause, and then slowly count into 10, release the air out of your body. I will explain the magic of this exercise, but for now, let's just play with that and feel the rest coming into your body with love and kindness. Close your eyes, take a breath, hold, quick in, hold, and then count to 10, release. 4, 3, 2, 1. In, 2, 3, hold. Quick in, 10 counts, release. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, release. Keep breathing, take on your own 3 more breaths. And listen to your body. And then the last release, on the exhale, let go all the worries, all the stresses, and everything does not serve you anymore. Let it be out into the universe. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and we'll come back. How did it feel? What was the feeling that you experienced when you were going into your body? Notice it took us about a minute. That was a super, super easy, mini tiny pause that no one died by us not working, not responding to meetings, not doing anything. It was a moment of kindness to your own body. It was the moment of working with your nervous system to bring the mini tiny rest into your work, rest, routine. What we did, we activated the diaphragm, which is that side of your body. Diaphragm activates the vagus nerve, which allows us to activate the relaxation through the entire body. And in addition to that, we were doing this little in moment. This is a natural way. Have you ever noticed how kids cry? They kind of, we cry the same way too. This mini quick inhales, which opens up our cells into quick openings that allow even more CO2 to get into the air canal and release out, which is releasing your toxins out of your system. When we are stressed out or overworked, the muscles receive, or the portions of our brain receive additional oxygen, but also when the oxygen is consumed and overworked, it releases the CO2. So this is a very quick way to bring your vagus nerves into action, simplify your conditions inside you, and release CO2, especially from the places that may carry this. So this is a tiny mini exercise that I invite you to take on. And when you breathe out more than you take in, this is where you push CO2 out of your body. Was it helpful? Say yes, it was. So now let's go back into our work mode and talk about tougher stuff again. Why are we doing what we're doing? Well, you may be not surprised to learn that we live in what now we call the VUCA context. VUCA stands for a few words, and I add the 5th one to this, but volatility, when things are changing faster than we can keep up with this. Uncertainty, when we don't know what's coming next. By the way, uncertainty is the only way of change and innovation. So learning how to stay in uncertainty and still be powerful leader of self and your body and your mind. This is a very, very powerful skill of whoever wants to be a success story of the future. Complexity, when linear strategies don't work anymore, because when it's like a Rubik's Cube, you play with one dimension of it and you mix the rest of them. But inside this cubic group is you. There is a mechanism that makes all the dimensions work together if you know the right strategies to bring all the dimensions of human self into reality. And then ambiguity, when we really don't know what's happening next. And to that, I will add the hyper connectivity that now technology brings into our life, which changes the human technology operations and how we relate to ourselves and to the world and to others. So there are multiple ways to talk about multiple reasons. As long as you understand them and pay attention, do run through this exercise and pay attention where you become more susceptible to certain dynamics. And then being aware of this, you get an opportunity to manage, put boundaries, and set certain rules. Globalization means 24/7 availability. If you work with teams in India, you're on 24/7 pretty much all the time. Hyperconnectivity, maybe that's less of a problem for you, much bigger problem for younger people, but it is a problem because it plays with the dynamic of the very powerful inner system, inner technology, pain and pleasure. And pleasure is what is activated by these ding-dong notifications all the time. So we don't recognize that our evolution, 2 million years build up massive machinery that we built, was designed to respond to those things. But now the technology makes the responses constant. Overload of information. You probably can write a book about burnout by now. The problem is not that, it's what we do about this. But overload of information is another huge tax on our mental conditions. And having this understanding and clarity and rules and boundaries is supremely important for people who want to maintain the healthy mental and physical condition to be the best leaders you can in life. We talked about pandemic and health clearly, and a huge rise in various ecological issues and stresses that come with that. So we'll be checking on some of those issues, but my invitation to you would be to spend some time with yourself and run through these things to see where dynamics you're much more responsive to. Here's an interesting thing about humans. Humans kind of have these two things. We have the animalistic, kind of primal mammal conditions, we call it our body, to which we attach a very human brain, which is the latest development, and it sits right here, prefrontal cortex. And it takes about 12% of your consciousness. The rest of it is run by your body. So you basically are the production of unconscious body responses and about 12% or less for some people of mental responses to who you are as a human. And so when you want something right here, the rest of the body might say, not so fast, and you will not ever do this. How many of you know that you need to be eating right? Yeah, but we don't. Why? We know that we need to be moving, right? Yes, but we're not moving. We know all sorts of things, but 94% of people who know what to do never do this. So we know what to do, but we don't do what we know. And that is the problem. That's a body in action. That's why the best way to be the best leader in life or in business is for you to learn to partner, make your business partner, your body, right? Because let's understand what happens inside the body so we can take charge a little bit more. When you understand, when you see it, when you see what it is, you can then manage it. But you can manage what you don't see. So first thing that I want to bring is uncertainty and how the body responds to uncertainty. It means discomfort for the body. It means threat. Anything that is not known, the bush I don't know, the berries I've never tasted, the animals I've never seen, potentially might kill me. That's the evolutionary process of body formation. And that's how your intelligence, 88% of it, is controlling the environment. Uncertain means danger, discomfort, and threat. And we don't like that to such an extent that there are some studies that are really almost funny if they were not so sad. The real study is that there's option 1 was given to people that you will be shocked with electrical shock every 10 seconds, guaranteed. Option 2 was you will be shocked or maybe not at all. And it could be maybe once every 30 seconds or maybe never. But you also could be shocked any given moment. What would you choose if you were the participant of this experiment? 1 or 2? I know exactly when it's going to happen, even though unpleasant. I have no idea when it's going to be. So we have 1, we have 2, so we have 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. So you are exactly where the majority of respondents were. The most people went for 1. We prefer to know the bad news or whatever that is, but we want to know because uncertainty is incredibly uncomfortable for the body, not for your mind, but for the body, which runs 88% of your decisions if you're not careful and you don't know where your CEO is. When the CEO is asleep, the team of your hormones is making the decisions for you. How cool is that? To have no idea what your CEO is doing, right? So what does it mean for us? It means to really understand how we operate and take charge, take agency, take control over your own resources so you can balance out experiences that the world is bringing to you and the challenges you have to deal with. I teach the very simple formula in the workshops that we do in our programs. I call it the overwhelm stress formula. I argue that overwhelm happens very simply when the feeling that the demands on our resources of human beings overrun the perception we have about resources we have to respond to them. So the demands on our system overruns what we feel, perceive as the resources we have. That usually comes from stressors, and I'm not just talking about stresses in life. Stressor would be the toxic foods that you allow into your body. What is toxic food? Nothing that grows on trees or runs on the planet is likely has some components of chemicals. Chemicals are poisonous, period. If it's not life or formerly life, then it's not food. This is what taxing our body. Difficult emotions are taxing our body. Ruminating mental habits of remembering how something happened 2 weeks ago and I keep being in shame and guilt about what happened 2 weeks ago, that habit creates the body's stress, and that is the toxin or toxic response. It's a stressor, it's a load. Your inflammation that happens in your body because you took too much drinks or you have some food issues or you didn't sleep well and you didn't clean the system. So there are tons of ways we are consistently expose ourselves to those loads without recognizing or controlling or filtering them into the system. That's what the stressors look like. The perceptions are the stories we tell ourselves. Someone didn't invite me to a meeting. Well, the story number 1 is, I must do something wrong. I probably suck. They don't want me. I might be fired. And every time we end up somehow homeless, workless, moneyless, under the bridge. Worst case scenario. Or they didn't invite me to the meeting. Fantastic. I can go for a walk. The same situation can translate into the stories and perceptions you have. Those perceptions are what will eventually write your world and life experience throughout your life. I work consistently with people who come with a story about how my mom didn't like me good enough when I was whatever. And in the same time, there's 50 years later, there's no mom. There's you. There's the voice of your mom in your head, but it's you who's telling these things to yourself over and over and over and over. My point was that when you start recognizing that the perceptions, the stories you tell yourself, and I have a very fun method of FIPI-DO, it's called, how to deal with facts and your interpretations and your feelings and your actions that come with that. It's really, really easy if you start recognizing, I'm telling myself a story, this story is going to translate into me having feelings and thoughts. They will trigger how I speak to people, what I do, what I don't do, and they will design your life. So the real process is recognizing those things, shifting them intentionally to what works for you, and then building them into the new habit so we can refreeze it back into your body, because we don't want to be thinking of this. And that becomes new you, who is significantly different and much more aligned with who you want to be in your life. So I want you to take out of this that it's the process of simply changing your mental and emotional habits. And it's a process of learning. And we also have your capacity to deal with shifts. Any form of change, whether you intentionally need to be responsible for innovation and create this, or anything that comes your way, the capacity, ability to work with change and stay strong in uncertainty, it requires emotional intelligence, emotional mastery, ability to have bigger ideas, and then learn how to let the mistakes happen, because mistakes is where we learn. 85% of innovation never takes off the ground, but 15% that do, this is what transforms the world that we know. So again, this is mastery that can be learned. And I invite you to recognize where you feel weakness and where you feel you can grow. What's on the other side of your resources? A BMW, your body, your mind, and how they operate with the world. This is your physical, emotional, mental, and yes, spiritual resources. Some people think spiritual is like, ooh, well, spiritual resources also means the mission. I am on the mission to change the life of 3 million people by 2025. So we create the world where every child grows up in joy, peace, and love. On this mission, my actions, my relationship to stress will be very, very different. So I'm going to get you to get up again, and we'll do one tiny exercise to quickly bring you back in connection to life, no matter what happens in your situation, no matter what happens at the war goes on. There is a moment, there's a trick. You can bring yourself back into life instantly. Please get up. We're going to do a little thing. We're going to hold our breath. Take a deep breath and hold it. And I will be timing you. So let's go. If you give up, put X. Release. How did it feel without the air? What was the feeling? Did you eventually start feeling kind of a little bit of panicky? Was it tough? Did you notice that you were going into your body, and at some point the body was like, I don't care for the world, breathe, right? This is suffocating, it's panicky, it's overwhelmed. So this is one of the most amazing vitality mini trigger that we all have. It works instantly. Like 15-20 seconds into the pause, you start going into your body, and the world loses its charge. You start realizing I'm alive and it's okay, and I breathe, and everything else is not as stressful as it was a minute before. So it's an exercise where you can train your body, but you also have ability to instantly connect to it and instantly shift into, I'm so appreciative, I'm alive, and I can take a breath, and the air is never going to run out, and I am here and I am alive. Did it help you to stop focusing on any problems that you were thinking about before? Did you notice that you went straight into, okay, I'm alive? And there was absolutely, the rest of the world is still having problems, but it wasn't your problem to that level anymore, right? So whenever you have this conversation, heated arguments with a spouse, with a colleague, with a client, with whatever, or you have this moment when you're stepping up, you can connect to your mission, you can connect to life, you can connect to the fact that you are here, you're alive, and you're blessed to talk to a human being in front of you. And it really doesn't matter. We can change and negotiate anything. It's just being alive. So this is another way of connecting to this. And yes, energy, time, money, and support are the 4 fundamentals that we use as tools to go through our life, and we would need to be very careful how we deal with that. So if we feel faint, let's take deeper breaths, go back into calm breathing, and just feel appreciation of life coming in, love and appreciation on the inhale, and release everything that is not yours, not serving you on the exhale. Take all the love and abundance, and then release everything that doesn't hurt, that doesn't serve you. So here's the resilience of the body. Recognize that stress is your best friend. Stress is what gets you up and moving and doing things. It's not the burnout. The stress is the moment where you activate your body to do anything. And we are bored if we don't have the charge and the challenge. So we are actually need stress to be anything: happy, successful, joyful, alive, happy, whatever it might look like. The problem is that we get into the second half of this when we go for too far, too long. And that is where we start sliding down the scale and eventually take it into overwhelm and burnout. And this is an important moment to recognize how we high achievers have unique ability to take the next level of success and expect that this is the next level going to be forever and more. But the reality is you go up and up and up, and eventually your body has to come down, because that's how the life works. It works in waves, in energies. It's a wave. However, we have these expectations of ourselves, which we start pushing and criticizing and judging ourselves and others. Kindness is dismissed. The compassion is dismissed. And this is the problem for lots of high achievers. Anyone guilty of that? If I was doing great, tomorrow should be even more so, or it should be at least that much, right? Very guilty. So what happens when we create not just the level of physical tiredness, but then we create emotional, how dare you trying to be weak? And then we add to this the expectations, what other people will think if I don't do what I said I will do. And oh my gosh, I will be fired, and I will be, again, somehow homeless and lonely under the bridge. That's the story. And then my kids won't talk to me, and my clients will fail me, and and we create a Napoleon cake. So now the body deals not just with your own stress because it's just simply tired and it needs to do something. It becomes layered on things that we created, you created for yourself, and you're killing your own self by creating the stories around that. And what happens when you do that? Well, everything goes down. Your vitality, you make mistakes, you have your mood disorders, you have exhaustion, you don't sleep, which means you don't clear the trash and don't compress your experiences of the last day. You have health issues, immunity, conflict, self-esteem, productivity, and the whole bouquet of wonderful life turns into your, by you created, hell. Anyone is aware of this? Do you see what could happen? Spend some time with this circle. I will share this with you. Go with this and just see what is going on with you, so you know where your weak link is. Your chain is only strong as its weakest link. That's how we build our success. So with that, let me give you another strategy so we do a little bit of fun. What is the fastest way to help your body to re-energize instantly? Put in a chat, please. What's the fastest way to help your body re-energize? Shake, jump, sleep, deep breaths, coffee, walk, dance, laugh, drink water. Awesome. So let's do a couple things, because I want you to see how easy it is. Stress, rest, right? We talked about stress. It was like, wow, I do this to myself. Yeah, and now let's do something about this. Get up again. Remember, diaphragm is our friend. We're going to contract it. And we're going to contract it with also 43 miles used here. It's called smile. Come on, let's smile. Right? We have the contraction, and we're going to take deep breaths because air is life. And then we're going to release toxins, which is CO2, out of the body together. Yay! Okay, so let's do it. 20 seconds. Be ready to be amazed. Take the deep breath in, and then release with squawk, 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 squawk. Your word is snapped. Listen to your body. What do you feel? Do you feel your heart pumping? Every cell right now having the oxygen like crazy going through every single organ, including the one that changes the world and creates problems or solutions for the world. You feel instantly energized. You just had 43 muscles working for you. You feel joy. You feel open. You have a little bit of stretch here. Instead of working like this, you now opened up a little bit, because it's all the body that allows the abundance into your world. Happy. And then we work together, and you heard other people laughing. We have mirroring neurons. Neuroscience rules. that make people see what you do, and they contagiously receive this message and they do the same. So if I laugh, you will laugh. If I smile, you will smile. If I yawn, you will yawn. If I go south, you will go south with me. Super simple, 20 seconds, exercise. Don't call it laugh if you don't want to. I call it laugh, sparkles of joy exercise, the laugh therapy. But it's so easy. That's another strategy in your toolbox. Was it cool? Was it fun? Did you like it? Awesome. So now we'll do another one. Supremely easy thing to do. We'll do this just for a little bit. But the fastest way to get your body re-energized is actually move. Why? Because 2/3 of your neural connections are designed for movement. And when 2/3 of you happy, the other third has no choice but to get happier too. Trust me, it's really that simple. So here's a story of guys who are living in Uganda. And these guys are collected from all over the country because they are the victims, the orphans of wars and civil unrest. So they are orphans, either by war, by violence, or by any way. And they have ability to not just dance and laugh, but bring so much joy to others that I think if they can, I'm sure you can too. Awesome. So now, again, you know the drill by now. Everyone is up because we need to move, and we're going to dance. We're going to either repeat what they have to do, or you do your own dance, but I want the cameras on so we can see each other dancing together. Here's one thing, the neuroscience again behind this, why it's a super simple thing. Before your presentation, before different conversations, before your negotiations, close the door, do the dance. But one condition, hold your arms above your chest, your heart. Why? We opening up those spaces. Here's the liver that is compressed all the time. Open it up so it can breathe more. It will help you to get through toxins in the body and process, metabolize things with energy. You open it up, you stretch those muscles here. This is breathing. The more oxygen you get, the better is your circulation into your main tool of making decisions, and the better decisions you will make. And the body will be able to withstand stress and stay in control instead of losing it to stress. So hold it up, which you're holding them up and up. You also open in the heart. And if you believe in spiritual thing, take a heart to the universe. If you don't, thinking about contraction here when we do this, open it up, expands the ability to bring oxygen to all areas of your body. Cool? So we're gonna dance until they go through the days of the week. Cameras on so we can all see you, and let's have fun.
Show me your moves, dancing your moves. Show me your moves, dancing your moves. Bébé, bébé, bébé me laisse beau, masquilla laisse beau, bébé me laisse beau. Bébé, bébé, bébé me laisse beau, masquilla laisse beau, bébé me laisse beau. Coucou, caresse, chuka, caresse.
How was it for you guys? Say me if you're smiling. That means you're releasing toxins, you're clearing the system. It wants to live and blossom and be in abundance. Listen to your heart. It's pumping with joy. What happens when we have the music that has rhythm? We're so designed evolutionary to move that when we move or even listen to drums that are associated subconsciously with move, our system responds with the muscles, even if we don't do it. There are studies that show that people just thinking of activities can grow muscles up to 30% of what the actual athletes do by just thinking and activating the neurons in your brain. And especially when you hear the rhythm, we are all energy and the music vibrates through us, right? So it's not just fun, it's not just joyful, it's incredibly powerful, neuroscientifically proven way of getting your body in the best place before you go into complicated decisions. So let's talk about burnout for real now. What do you think the burnout is? Put in the chat, please, what do you think of when you think burnout? Overwhelmed, tiredness, sadness, too tired, go fast, powerless, exhausted, over a long time, numb, disinterested, unmotivated. Awesome. So what the World Health Organization is now considered from 2019, they put burnout as a syndrome into the description of conditions at work. And they describe this as a syndrome that conceptualizes the chronic stress, workplace stress specifically, that is not successfully managed. Here's the main mini problem though. You can't quite manage stress. You kind of need to be managing something else. And we'll talk about this in a second. But you were all right. There are 3 factors of burnout and you all got the first one for sure. Burnout is in fact exhaustion, but it's a deeper exhaustion that a 2 days of vacation can take care of. It's the emotional and mental exhaustion which makes it such a swampy place of trying to get out. So we need to simultaneously change the systems around while supporting the body and simultaneously prevent an even deeper slide, which is much more difficult than a more dimensional treatment than it's just we just simply tired and take a nap. But important thing to recognize, there are 2 more elements to the burnout. One is the cynicism, the emotional disengagement. We so don't have energy to get with people that we actually go into subconscious walling people out. And how we do this? Easy. We either go passive aggressive or cynical, some way to push them away because we don't have time or energy to maintain the most unpredictable, by the way, human beings. We'll be talking about this next week, about this unpredictability, predictability, and uncertainty concept of a hero trap. But this is humans are the most unpredictable people. And so we know this intuitively. And even if we want to be nice and good, we push them back. But what it means that if you see other people who seem to be toxic or nay people or engage in some form of pushing back, ask them, how are you? Engage them in conversation. Understand that they might be going through this, not knowing that they're burning out. It's like a change of personality almost when the person is not self anymore. Pay attention and create the context where they can be received and actually compassionately invited into conversation of possibly helping them. And also when we keep doing this, the next step is loss of our self-inadequacy. It's the feeling that I'm not good enough. Anyone who feels ever that I'm not good enough, the imposter syndrome for some, I am that bad guy, bad girl, I am that bad person, which triggers the circle even more so if you don't really have those, right? So there is this understanding that it's when your self-esteem is sliding, slow down and ask, what if this is an element of burnout? Because burnout can be causing this, and also notice this in your children, in people that you lead, people that you're responsible for. So here's the couple things about myths that we have about just rest. That won't work because it's about your place in a 10-hour day that you spent at work or thinking about it. So you have to start taking responsibility. What specifically in work conditions make you slide more? And then we can take care of how to address those conditions with your employees, with your leaders, with your managers, etc. It's not enough to recognize that the work causing this. What specifically does this and how we can change the conversation to start changing the environment? It's your problem. Well, it's not just your problem. It is also organizational culture. And we'll talk about this in a second. You can start asking for different things at work, and it's communication that is important, but understand what causes you a problem. Passion prevents burnout. totally opposite. It is most passionate people who are burning out the most. 87% of people who are passionate can never stop because the world needs them. And so they don't take care of themselves. They don't stop for themselves because the world is so big and there's so much that I need to do. So be aware that if you are passionate about something, you must look closer to self-love and this moment of peace and relaxation. Burnout is not depression. Depression actually comes as a result of burnout. So when you feel depressed, do go and talk to your doctors, talk to someone else, but also realize that you will potentially also experiencing the burnout, and depression is not the solution to just the only way of treating that. And finally, new job, a new career is not a solution either. Just like you keep marrying the same person, like your father, your mother from the past, you will be finding the same job and the same toxic culture. Why? Because again, surprisingly, it's a disconnect of your BMW. Your body knows how to survive in a particular situation. It doesn't like it maybe, but it knows how to keep you alive in toxic relationship, an abusive relationship. So even though your CEO brain wants happy and thriving, the body doesn't know how to keep you safe in the thriving place, happy place, expand itself, but it does know how to make sure you survive for the last 40 years in that suffering place. And so if you do not connect the two in the conversation, the mind and the body always wins, and it will put you into the place of suffering over and over and over. So instead of looking for another job, which might be a solution, look first into what you're doing or don't do in this job and see if you can build skills, capacities, and communication skills to renegotiate your conditions where you are, whether it's marriage or work or any other situation. Burnout is what happens when you try to avoid being human for too long. And so we need to go back into being human. And that's what we're going to be talking about. I will send you this presentation so you can go through this more in details, and you can take it to your teams and you can talk about this or sit quietly and think about this. I group together what the organization is doing, and I group together what the person is responsible for. And you can see where all of these things, perfections and procrastinations, they were skills. They're all skills that you learned and they became your habits. They're not you, they've never been you, they never will be you unless you allow them to run your life. And so we can start talking about what I can do on my own and where I can negotiate different things on my own. So what are the core pieces? I will share with you 5 different strategies in the slides that you will receive, so you can go through this and figure this out. But there's a core piece that I want us to really be aware of. And this is the simple exercise. And you had a couple of tactical exercises of stress, rest, stress, rest, stress, rest. In the programs that I teach, I go even more so. It's work, rest, play, because play is an important element as well. But we do need to be aware of how we respond to stress. Chronic prolonged stress is your problem. And the biggest mistake is trying to manage stress. We need to manage your stressors and partner with your body, help it to go through stress. The main thing is to have a conversation, and I put into this and share with you the steps how to do this, how to set the conversation with your stress. Have the space and time. When you connect to this, when you understand what it is, you can manage it. If you don't see what it is, there's no way you can manage this. The strategy number 2 is dealing with burnout before it kicks in. It's not the strategy of, I hope I'm not getting this and then, here I am, but to really prevent it. So much easier to deal with that than try to fix it when it's already in your system, because you lose this ability to connect to your decision-making powers. So you will see the specific ideas here, use them or join our programs and we will do this together. Set boundaries. We will be talking about this on week 5, so don't miss that. We'll be talking about boundaries and practicing them, but learning to say no is an important element. The boundary is a simple distance where you love yourself and you love another. And so looking for this solution, can you do this? I appreciate you asking me. Thank you for thinking of me. I won't be able to do this, but I can do this next week. That is a 4-step process we'll be practicing on week 5. So don't miss that. But it's leaning into know and learning to create the filtering when you love yourself and you love another. It's all about love, compassion, and collaboration in the world of success, the way I see it. The strategy 4 is the one we've been practicing. You work and then you relax. You work and you relax. It's like climbing the stairs. You're not going to hop on the 2nd floor. Climb it. Work, rest, work, rest. And you do this every day. Build your rest menu. 1 minute, we danced, we laughed. 5 minutes, 15 minutes, walk around the block. 1 hour, take meditation or take a deeper walk. Whatever that is, decide that you're going to be human first, because burnout is when you stop being human for too long. And then you can play with that 1 day at a time, turns into 7 times a week, turns into 365 moments a year. That is your way out. The final strategy is go slow. And that means connect with people. Stop living in a bubble of me, because how you do not talk to people, you also don't talk to yourself. And only learning to talk differently with yourself and others is going to change the world. Slow means see people. I see you. You don't have to agree with them, but you acknowledge them. Listen means ask questions and listen to what they have to say instead of judging them for what you want to respond with. It's a skill that we don't learn, but it's learnable. Observe means step out and look how the friend will see this situation. The loving person will respond to this situation, not you, not them, but someone else who is kind and nice. And then I wonder what could happen if. What if we try this? What if we explore this? It's the language of we, and it's questions of curiosity. And this is what brings us to the place of being human, and as human, transforming the world. The last exercise I'm going to show you has to do with your meridians. We're going to just do a very quick thing which instantly raises your energy. We're going to take your pulse of the fingers and go through your face. You're going to mess up makeup, but this is what we do when we're tired, right? And we just go through and then kind of comb yourself through your hair and bring it back on your jaws back. So we're just going to do this a couple times. What happens? You activate your meridians that go through your face and your head especially, and you will see a huge influx of energy, the blood going into your brain. We do this when we cry. We do this when we're frustrated, like, ah! But this is the exercise that you can lovingly calm yourself. Do this 9 times and you will instantly feel the energy that comes with that. I really hope that this was a useful information to you. I will send the slides to people who are here. What was the biggest takeaway that you have? And what was the aha moment for you? What is the one thing you're taking with you that is going to change your day, which will change your week, will change your year and your life? The exercises, awesome, energizing practices for defining burnout was helpful. Slow burnout is not depression. We have the ability to shift our moods. We have ability to design our life, period. You design your own suffering. You design your own awesomeness. Decide who you want to be and then learn how to create that. So if you don't know, then come to programs like I run. That's what we do. We work on skills and clarity and communication, because that's how we continuously redesign our life. I really appreciate you coming in and spending this time. I really appreciate you all. Celebrate you, celebrate your awesomeness, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself, know yourself, master yourself, create the life you want. You're the one who is creating for yourself, and by ripple effect of your awesomeness, you create impact for others, permission for them to love themselves and be the same. It starts with you, it ends with you, it's your life, live it. Don't miss it. The train is passing by, just be on it. Wishing you huge love and much energy for today. Thank you very much.